Pneuma is track number 2 on Tool's 5th studio album, Fear Inoculum. Turns out that Pneuma's actually the second single that came off of Fear Inoculum, and I had no clue that was the case because, riding around town in the car, you hear that Fear Inoculum, the song, is played all over the radio. I don't think I've heard Pneuma played on the radio once, so I thought that was pretty cool that this is their second single off of that album. Now this one hits a little different for me because the first time we reacted to Pneuma, it was the drum cam, live Danny Carey, and if you've been on the internet within the past 2 years, trust me, you have seen this video. If you haven't, go check that out because Danny shows off. But after watching the first drum cam, I want to call this a sleeper song. And what I mean by a sleeper song is it took time for me to actually enjoy this song. Now, I did the breakdown of Descending, which to this day I'm still going to say is probably my favorite song off of Fear Inoculum. But if I had to pick a second one, Pneuma would it'd be neck and neck. Those two would almost tie. But the reason I would call it a sleeper song is because we didn't get to hear the studio version the first time we saw Pneuma. We saw Danny Carey, and when you see someone like him play drums for the first time, it's kind of hard to stay focused on the music when you have an octopus right in front of you just playing his heart out. And that's what I mean when I call this a sleeper song for me, because I want to say about 2 months after we had did the drum cam reaction, we got the chance to sit down and enjoy the studio version. Now, after hearing the studio version, things changed. After we did the reaction to Pneuma, I was able to, drive around and listen to it whenever I was ready. And I can distinctly remember when this song actually was like, okay, this is going to be one of your favorite Tool songs. And let's just say I was home on a Saturday night enjoying music by myself, and Pneuma comes on. I'm playing Fear Inoculum, and the from the point A to point B, I wanted to hear from the beginning of the album to the end of the album in its entirety. And when Pneuma comes on, you get that riff. Y'all know that riff I'm talking about. Adam comes in with that sweet, smooth riff, and then you get Danny. Those high do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. You know how it is. But when you get that, your skin, or my skin, I'm gonna speak for myself, my skin started to crawl when I'm listening to music by myself on this Saturday night. Now, for some reason, this song stayed on repeat. I would listen to Fear Inoculum and I would let it go to the next song and the next song. But when Pneuma hit, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember this song being that damn good. So I played the song over 3, 4, maybe 5 times in one sitting. And even today, I'm still playing it in constant rotation. But it gives me that feeling that, again, I seriously believe that Danny, and I'm not leaving Justin out, Justin does his thing. Maynard, lyrically, I would say this is probably some of Maynard's best work on Fear Inoculum, but I really believe Fear Inoculum is a competition, between Danny and Adam. I just feel like they're just battling each other. It's like, hey, you gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and we're just gonna make craziness. And I'm not taking anything away from Justin because he's over there slapping the hell out of that bass, and then Maynard comes in with those beautiful angelic we are, that it just rides so perfectly. I mean, they really mesh everything sonically when it comes together as one. That's I'm gonna say one of my favorite songs. Now, here's something funny that I still laugh at myself about is when we first, early in our Tool journey, everyone was like, dude, wait till you guys hear Lateralus. And they're like, they use this number sequence in Lateralus, and it's called the Fibonacci sequence. And, me trying to, overthink everything, hence overthinking, overanalyzing. But listening to Lateralus for the first time, I'm like, dude, I hear the Fibonacci sequence. You hear the 1, the 2, the 3, and so on and so on. So after listening to Lateralus, I legitimately thought that Tool used the Fibonacci sequence in every song. And you can go back and watch some of the reactions. I'm like, oh wait, I can hear the Fibonacci sequence. I'm like, no. Well, it wasn't even me. I have to thank you guys for that because you said, no, Hollywood, you're tripping. They did that in one song. And actually, I heard I've heard from some Tool fans that they might have used the Fibonacci sequence in an earlier song on Opiate. Just want to put that out there. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I've heard from some trash talkers. But when I heard Pneuma, I legitimately thought that I was getting a Lateralus Part 2, if you will. Obviously, they weren't using the Fibonacci sequence in Pneuma, but I just love, as a rapper, I love when Danny and Adam and Justin, when they find that groove and that rhythm, like at the middle of the song, right when Maynard cuts out, you hit that. That is so fire, dude. It's literally like to the point where I'm like, why did I not create a beat that mimics that same bass line with the same drums, with the same riff? Why didn't I create that? Guys, if you have not checked out Pneuma, please go check it out. Go check out our reaction while you're at it as well. With that being said, my name's Barringer Hollywood 6. Bye. Peace.